Hey y'all, I'm Chris and this is It Worth It, y'all? And today we are continuing with the Every Bit Counts challenge. And today's Saturday, and so Greg and I had the opportunity to go to a local farmer's market and we did a little damage. So let me run through what we've bought and the recipes that we're getting ready to can up. So we went ahead and purchased 50 pounds of tomatoes, a half a bushel of jalapenos, half a bushel of green bell peppers, cilantro, and we're going to start with these onions and then probably supplement with our onions. So if you couldn't tell, we're going to make salsa. We're also going to make ketchup, and then we're trying to look at if we're going to do some chili base or not. Depends on our priorities are salsa, diced tomatoes, and then ketchup's third, but we really want to make sure that we're using some of our old stuff first. So this fresh stuff, first and foremost, is going to be turned into salsa. So here we go. All right, y'all, for this batch of salsa, I had one of these Mrs. Wages packs left. So we're just going to make the Mrs. Wages salsa, and we're going to follow directly on the back, and it's tomatoes, this packet, and some vinegar. And so I'm blanching the tomatoes right now to get the skins off, and then there's the tomatoes in the sauce pack and the vinegar. Then we're going to put the tomatoes that we blanch in an ice bath in here. I'm going to chop them, and we're going to fill up that pot full of tomatoes. And this will be our first 5 pints of salsa. All right, we have peeled tomatoes. There's the tomato skins. And that's the tomatoes we're going to use for this batch. Let me get this batch over here so we can just add to it. And we're going to chop these up and get them in the spice. All right, we have followed the directions, and we are now to the point to where we have combined the vinegar, the Mrs. Wages salsa mix, and we have added the tomatoes, which have been skinned, cored, and chopped coarsely. I like that size chop, so I think we're gonna go there. We got our next batch of tomatoes being blanched, so we can pull the skins off. So, all right, we're getting there. We're gonna let this cook for about 10 minutes, and then we are going to use the can it instructions and process the jars probably in our electric canner. We're gonna probably use the electric canner today because we're gonna do a lot of little batches. And then, because I don't want to have a water bath canner going for 40 minutes on the stove. And so this is process jars for 40 minutes in a boiling water bath canner. But we can do 25 minutes on the pressure canner, which I would prefer that. So I can keep rocking and rolling on the other recipes while the electric canner is doing its thing. And I don't have to watch it, so. I'll put a link in the description below for the electric pressure canner because I love it. Tomatoes for the next couple batches of salsa ready to roll. This has simmered for 10 minutes. I've turned it off for a minute to see if it's going to thicken up at all. I think I want it a little bit thicker than this, so I might add some tomato paste, or we'll just leave it and see how it cans up. But I think it's going to be okay. I got Greg in here to make sure this is the consistency that he wanted, and he said it was good. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our jars ready. We're going to fill our jars up, and we're going to process this. We have the first batch in, and we're going to do a water bath steam. I'm going to go ahead and do this for 40 minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and use just the pressure canner. That lid's on. Pressure canner for this. It needs to be on venting or exhaust. So we're going to do this. This pressure canner also water baths. So we're going to process this for 40 minutes, and I'll bring you back when this one's done. Like I said, tomatoes are ready for the next one. I just have to chop the rest of the vegetables. So, and we'll get going on. Let me show you the recipe. We are using the fresh vegetable salsa recipe on page 203 out of the Complete Book of Home Preservation by Ball. So we're going to be doing this recipe next. So I've got the tomatoes done. Now I need to do all the onions and green peppers and all that stuff. And as you can see, we have a few. And we have a few tomatoes left still. So we got plenty of opportunity to make a ton of stuff. So this is about an hour later. We're gonna triple the salsa batch. So we have the tomatoes, the jalapenos, pasta, tomato sauce or paste, onions, bell pepper, vinegar, cilantro that I have to chop still, and the garlic. So we are ready to dump everything in the pot and get it simmering. And I'll bring you back whenever it's simmered for a little while so you can kind of see the consistency of it. Oh, and I did drain these tomatoes. They are very watery, so I did take some of the water off before we started this process. Really fit in the pot, y'all. Three batches, or a triple batch. My word. All right, y'all, there we have it. We have our 5 pints of Mrs. Wages salsa. Now, if they're new to canning, I highly encourage you to go like Tractor Supply, Rook King, Ace Hardware, Walmart has these little packets, and they're very simple to use. All of the instructions are on the packet itself. If you're new to canning, go grab you a pack and do it. I still use them. My favorite one of these is the chili base, and we've got some more of those that I think I might can up depending on how many we have on the shelf. So there you go. Those are the 5 Mrs. Wages that we did today, and we've got enough to do 15 more when that cooks down. So this is what we're doing today. We're doing salsa today. So, and I'm gonna be busy for the next couple days, obviously. Yeah, so I see some cowgirl candy in our future, and then we can freeze those if we don't use them in the next 2-3 days. So yeah, there we go. I love having this. Oh, 2. Hope you heard that. Anyway, so today is salsa day. We're knocking them out. About 20 minutes in, I've already tasted it. It tastes wonderful. It looks amazing. Oops, I'm fogging you up, sorry. It tastes like summer. So I'm gonna go prep my jars, get ready, start canning. Are getting ready to be washed. Canner is being filled. I want y'all to know a little hack real quick. So I'm right in the middle of jarring up all this salsa that we just made. This recipe is supposed to make 15 pints. So I've got 15 pints here. Now, one of the things that I do, especially like soups, stews, salsa, stuff that's got chunks and liquid, to make sure you have even distribution, what I do is I go in and put 1 scoop in every single jar. See, I put 1 scoop in every single, like that big, healthy, yummy, see that scoop? Like, yeah, that's the scoop we want in there. And I do it all the way around in 1, and then I go back and start again. And then I also want to make sure that on that second scoop, I've got more liquid than chunk. So I want to do half and half. See how that's different than, like, that's healthy. And this is what I want to be my second one. So I'm trying to evenly distribute the liquid and the chunks into all the jars. So whenever you open up the product, it's consistent. Okay? See? So that's just something that I do to try to make my products consistent. So when I open up that last jar of salsa, it's not all water or all tomato juice. Okay, so that's your pro hack for this one. Now I know y'all are gonna be like, Chris, I know you didn't judge that it perfectly made 15 jars. You're correct, it perfectly made 14 jars. So I get and I empty the pot, and then whenever I get down to it, I've got a couple jars left, I take one of the jars that I had filled halfway or 3/4 of the way, and I redistribute. And then I end up with 14 beautiful cans of salsa to put on the shelf. All right, we're gonna can these up, do our regular process. Vinegar, lid, ring, process, and let her sit until tomorrow to make sure that every one of these seals. All right, it's beautiful. First batch is out. And this is the recipe from the Ball canning book, the complete guide, 400 recipe. And I think this is called the fresh salsa. Turned out great. I've got the second set in, same water. I had to add some water, so it's gonna come back up to boil, and then we'll do 20 minutes again. So we got 5 more left. And I would say that today is a great day of every bit counts challenge. I'm pleased. All right, see you guys on the next one.